Here I am. Hey, everybody, what's going on? You like those little howls that I just kind of threw in there? Yeah, that was kind of reminiscent. That's kind of what I heard when I had my encounter back in 2018. Similar to that, very creepy. I don't know how good it came through on the playback. Thought I will just, kind of put that in there for you guys. It is Saturday. It's midnight in Michigan, wherever you are. Thanks for coming on in. If you might have noticed in the background, it was just a picture of me and Monica. I just got Monica with me. Brandi and Krista, well, they tend to burn the candles at both ends a lot of times, those girls. So they're both under the weather. The show does go on. I got the lovely Monica backstage, and we have a great show slated for you. Really briefly, of course, as always, like I always do, because, it's the thing I do. I got to thank everybody for buying my books that are out there. You can find them on Amazon. 2 books. A Bigfoot Michigan Rob presents True Cryptid Encounters, Book 1. Book 2 came out 2 or 3 months ago. Just type Bigfoot Michigan Rob in your Amazon browser. Leave a review. It does help promote sales. It's all analytics these days. Of course, subscribe to the channels. If you're new, subscribe to Bigfoot Michigan Rob on YouTube. Monica Rollins, Our Paranormal World. The Blondes and the Booze Paranormal Podcast. And Texas Front Porch. And we're on 7 days a week, it seems, lately. 7 days a week. Turn on the alert bells because I don't give out our schedules. It's just, I don't want to spend 20 minutes giving out the times. If you like us, alert bell. Right, Monica? How
That's
you doing?
right. Like, you should know our schedules by now. I shouldn't have to like
I've been
remind
doing this 3 years. You've been doing this a while, and I noticed, Monica, you got like I follow you. I follow. You're
you.
like shoot about 15 away from getting monetized.
I know, it's so close.
It's so
15
close.
people. We'll see. Like, maybe if I haven't done a show in 2 weeks because I was sick 2 weeks ago. I was sick, and this past week, obviously, it was Halloween. I had to take my son trick or treating, and we were just out really, really late. So
Yeah, you
I
were
got
out
to get
really.
back on it. I bet I would have made it if I had actually produced something.
Yeah, well, if you have nothing, that's the key. You need something in production. And I was looking for something here. Oh, that's not what I was looking for. Well, I don't have what I was
Spooky
looking
Bridge.
for. Oh, here's something spooky.
Ah, that was me, yeah, with the trusty
Yeah.
old bat.
Yeah, I'm sorry I can't make this. So if you've watched it on your phone, it does not do justice. You got to have it on your TV or the computer. But you look pretty. If you, I, if you would have came, trick or treating to my house, I'd have given you a double look. Like, okay, hurry up and give her her candy and get her the hell out of here.
Get her off my porch.
I was a bit confused though. Was this you as well? Is that
Yep.
the same?
That's
A
the
different
same
mask.
mask.
Same shirt, I think, different mask.
Yeah. No, same mask.
Okay, let me see. Yeah, it's just this one's a little darker, but yeah, that's a fantastic. That was cool. I like that.
Yep,
And
I was the Purge. I purged.
that was the
Purge.
Purge. Yeah, that was pretty cool outfit, costume, if you will.
It was fun. I don't typically dress like that for Halloween. I usually am like fully covered up. That was a little more.
Well, it's a little, yeah,
little out of my comfort zone, but
yeah,
it was
it did look well. Yeah, I like it. Looked good. It did. But with that being said, it's funny because I do love Halloween, but I haven't dressed up for Halloween in, I will tell you, a very long time. In fact, the last time I dressed up, Monica, for Halloween was before I started shaving my head.
Oh.
And I didn't really feel like dressing up, so I put something quick and easy together. I had a bomber jacket. I had aviator Ray-Bans, and I had a white T-shirt, blue jeans, and cowboy boots.
Goose to talk to you?
I was Goose. I was Maverick. Yeah, I was Maverick.
That's pretty cool. That's a good costume.
Yeah, that was back when it was well, it was about a decade after it was popular. But yeah, it was simple, it was easy. I had everything right there at my fingertips. That's the last time I literally dressed up. So
I dress up every year. I actually got my company to start having like actual Halloween and costume contests because they didn't do anything. In the first year the company was fairly new when I started, but my first year there, man, I full on Dia de los Muertos with the sugar skull makeup. I had like a layer neck, like skeleton painted on my chest. I came to work fully decked out, and
wow,
dressed up. And the next year, everybody dressed up, and we ended up having a costume contest, and that's been a tradition for the last 7 years at the company. So,
well, that is pretty awesome.
Coworkers that enjoy that.
The day and age, I think that is great. It's just great for the work environment, and especially there's a lot of people that still like Halloween. I mean, I do. I mean, I'm in my 50s. I love it. And I always talk, in fact, in October, it was all kind of Halloween themed shows that I put on, and which is awesome. And it's always cool when you have dress ups at the workplace.
Yeah. And I'll typically wear it out when I take Lucas trick or treating, like, just go and terrorize, University Park in Dallas, which is, fairly affluent neighborhood. Like, that's where we go. And he, all the little kids are terrified of me usually. This year I had to tone it down. I couldn't walk around half dressed with blood all over my shirt and a baseball bat and a mask. I couldn't do that. But the year that I was the plague doctor, that really freaked the kids out. It really freaked my coworkers out because they didn't know who was behind the mask. They had no idea who it was.
Yeah, okay.
And I
Yeah, well,
didn't talk, and I just walked around with the plague doctor staff.
I, that's awesome. I love, yeah. When I can remember going to actual parties back, in high school and even in our 20s, we did a lot of dress up parties, right? I got into it for a good 10 years. We were doing it, right? And I always loved the costumes, and you knew probably, and usually the parties I went to was thrown by a friend.
Mhm.
I'm weird because for the 3 years, like during the year when I became a sophomore in high school, 10th, 11th, and all of us 12th graders, those three classes, we all blended and bonded really well. Not just my class, but it was either the seniors. When I was a sophomore, the juniors and seniors were cool. We went to all the parties. So we would always have these cool Halloween parties where there's like 50, 60 kids that, typically in the day when I grew up, on the weekends, there was always a parent that went away for the weekend. So there was always a house available
Right.
and the kids always had a party. I did it several times myself in high school, right?
Yeah, who didn't?
Yeah, we all did that, and I love the costume parties where somebody had a cool, they were dressed up really cool, whether they had a mask on or makeup, and you could not figure out who the person is. It's like, boy, I know everybody here, but who the hell is that in the
Who
corner?
is that? Yeah.
Just sitting there, creepy looking. I don't
Oh,
know that.
yeah.
Then we'd always guess, well, that's Joe. That's Sandy. No, it's Tim. No, it's got to be Wendy. And then finally, as the night goes on, everybody's kind of done, wore out with, hey, look at our costume, and you're getting a little tipsy. Yeah, hi, it's me, Joe Blow. Oh, hey, man, I thought you were Cindy, or whatever. Really, that's how good your costume was. You got away with it, so
That's what it's for, right?
that's exactly what it's for, and that's always a great. That's all. If you can trick somebody in the spirit of trick or treat, that's
Yeah.
awesome. And I've got to tell you that I passed out candy, and I had a nice turnout. It was like the first 60 minutes to 90 minutes. It was really cool because it was all the kids that were 5, 6, 10. Some teenagers, but they all were very cool, very polite, a lot of cool little costumes, and then it kind of died off a little bit, and it was a very windy for me. It was windy as all get out. It was so windy that the next morning when I went in my backyard, my entire cable line, and yeah, again, me with my cable, the whole line from the back of my house to the pole where the line runs to the house, it was laying on the ground.
Oh.
Laying, versus obviously being suspended up in the air.
Right.
I'm like, so I check everything. This is early in the morning, so I immediately go check the cable, and everything was, intact. So, if I haven't called my cable company a million times, Monica, I haven't called them at all.
It's got a lot of problems, huh?
Yeah, and I call them. I said, hey, and then you have to go through all the telephone prompts. One for,
Oh, that's so annoying.
one for your bill, one for Spanish,
I
one
just
for
keep hitting 0 until something happens.
I do. Yeah. You go through all these until I finally get a human being. And of course, it's somebody that's from, Korea. You can barely hear what they're saying, understand what they're saying.
Yes. Yes.
Got it together. They fixed it. And I just got the line put up, went smoothly. But
Good.
so going back to Halloween night, again, like I said, a lot of cool kids came by, all dressed up really cool. It was nice. I typically have in my front yard, I put out it's kind of, I always forget a cauldron, and I make a fire, and I
Okay.
sit there, in a lawn chair or a chair, have a couple adult beverages, handy, and pass out the candy. And I did it for about 2 hours, and it started dying down a little bit. So I said, well, shit, the kids are done. I said, well, I'm gonna, pack it in, go in the house. across the street from me, there's a house that's been up for sale for about, I don't know, 2 or 3 months. The people that live there aren't there anymore. They moved into the new house, so the real estate agency is just handling the sale of the home.
Okay.
So I go kind of look out the front yard to see if there's any activity. And before I tell you what I kind of seen, I think we might have done a Halloween show. We were talking about our favorite movies, and my all-time favorite movie was Halloween, the original Halloween, Michael Myers. That to me, I liked it. The very first one. The
Mhm.
second one's okay, but that's like my go-to. Then I know the first Friday the 13th is cool, and so is then the first, Freddy is cool. The old ones, right? The
Right.
beginning one. So I'm a Michael Myers. That's my go-to for spookiness. So the house across the street, it's on a lot and a half. It's got a big old oak tree in front of it, and the real estate company has the porch light on. I think it's on a timer, so when it gets dusky dawn, it gets dark, the porch
Okay.
light comes on. Cool, good setup. I look out. I kid you not. I look out the front window of the house. And I look across the street. I see nothing, and I'm kind of doing one of these jobs left and right looking. And then I look, and standing just outside of the oak tree, someone's standing there in the Michael Myers outfit.
Oh, hell.
Yeah, and it wasn't a kid. It wasn't a 4-foot kid. It was a big person. At least they had to be at least 6 foot, and they had the Michael Myers mask. He had the mechanic suit on. I didn't see a knife, but he was just standing there, and his head f- creepily kind of cocked a little to the side, how he does.
Yeah.
But it was staring, and you can't tell with the mask staring directly at my house. I'm looking out the window, and I kind of chuckle.
Oh, that's creepy.
I said, "It's kind of creepy." And I kind of I'm watching this person. It had been 3 or 4 minutes. I'm just staring. It's not even moving. This person's not even moving. So I kind of get, ooh boy, a little, I'm kind of freaked out. I call my buddy because my buddy knows that I love Michael Myers, and I do know that my buddy has a Michael Myers mask. I say, "Hey man, are you?" Then he answers the phone, and I go, "Well, you're answering your phone." So I hurry up and ran upstairs, looked out the window, and this person is still standing there, no cell phone in hand. I said, "This is the weirdest thing. I thought maybe you were, you know, dressed up as Michael Myers staring at my house." He goes, "No, man, I'm getting ready to go to bed." I said, "Well, dude, there's a guy dressed like Michael Myers across the street staring. And he's still there. He hasn't moved. Now it's been about 8 or 9 minutes." He goes, "Wow, that's freaky, man." And then we talked, he went to bed. So I get off the phone and I go outside and I sneak around my backyard to an area where this person wouldn't be able to see me because I maneuvered around the house and there's an area where I can look across the street. And I'm outside, and sure enough, this object, I call it an object because it didn't move, Monica. It did not move. This dude, Michael Myers, standing there just outside of a big oak tree, standing there, still standing there. We're 8, 10, now we're like 12 minutes into this. Doesn't
Hmm.
move a muscle. So I'm kind of like, okay, that's, I don't know, man. I just don't know. So I go back in the house and I said, well, you know what? I'm just going to ignore it, and I'm just going to, make sure. Yeah, I made sure all the doors are locked, no windows or,
Right.
and just waited. And I just went, I started doing something, whatever I did. I don't know. I just started getting involved in something. And then I kind of forgot about it. And I look at the clock, and now, Monica, a good 40 minutes, close to an hour has gone by. And I'm like, okay, I'm sure that the prank is over. I go to the front window. I peer out the window, expecting to see nothing. And Michael Myers is still standing on the lawn.
What?
We're talking almost an hour.
That's a dedicated. That's dedication.
I don't know what to do because I'm kind of freaked out. I kind of want to go to bed, but I can't go to bed now with some creepy Michael Myers character outside across the street staring in at presumably my house, right? Could have been the house next door, but standing. You don't know where the mask, you don't know where they're looking.
He's being creepy in a front yard.
Being creepy
looking in the general direction
yes.
of your yes.
I'm like, well, you know what? I got to do something about this. I go into my basement and I get this. I actually get like a knife, right? I do.
Okay.
A pocket knife, 5-inch blade. I just put it on me. I don't know. Because I want to go out and confront this person. I get out. I start walking across the street toward the Michael Myers across the street. I want to ask this guy, what's your problem, man? Staring. I mean, you're kind of creepy out. What's your deal, man?
Right.
Number one, the property is no one's been in this home for like a couple months. It's for sale. You really should not be there, technically, right?
Right.
So as I'm getting closer and closer and closer, this thing is not moving, not flinching. And I'm saying, hey, hello? Hey, hello. And I'm moving closer, and I'm kind of weirded out a little bit because this figure's not moving, not even acknowledging me, not flinching. But I continue forward. I get like 8 or 9 feet, and I notice something kind of odd about it. And I kind of look down, and between its legs, I see like a piece of like wood, like a black 2x4, which you couldn't see in the darkness from across the street.
Mm-hmm.
And I get closer. Now I'm thinking this isn't even a person. It was a dummy. It was a dummy made of hay, dressed up.
Like Michael Myers.
Implanted there like Michael Myers.
Somebody was pranking you.
You know that? Like.
Do you have any fans that live nearby that know your affinity for Michael Myers?
My friend that I called, the first guy I called,
mm-hmm.
and I called him back the next morning. Was that you? Because years ago, my buddy would stuff. He would make scarecrows and stuff. And stuff them with hay. And he has done that, but he hasn't done that in a long time. I called him and asked him. He goes, "No, not me."
Oh,
Click.
no.
Mm-hmm.
Liar. Lies. It's lies. He did it.
He had to have done it. And I'm like,
the fact that it like cocked its head, though.
Yeah, it was really, he had it perfect on a cock. If everyone, because I really watched him, he gives that creepy, it's not straight, it's got the little cock off to the side.
Just a little, like.
And then after he kills somebody, he's like, cocks his head, stares into the dead body.
Yeah.
Getting satisfaction out of it.
Looking at his masterpiece, right? Strewn all over the place. Oh, I did that.
So I was like, man, that's it gave me the chills. I have to admit, Monica.
That is creepy.
And I was thinking, if this is a real person, like you mentioned earlier, dedicated. It was once I finally started going across the street, it was over an hour. And the person had to put that up because that was not there during when I was outside, with the kids passing out candy. It's when I put down the fire, went in the house, did whatever I had to do. Then I kind of looked out, and that's when I seen this guy, or not this guy. As
Well,
it
you thought
turns
it was
out,
a guy,
thought
right?
for a minute there.
Yeah, for an
So,
hour there, you thought it was a guy,
I'm like, wow, this is
which is understandable if it was a good.
kind of. So that's
Yeah,
the freakiest thing that's happened to me, on Halloween in a long time. And that was, I tell you what, my heart was racing just a little bit, just a little bit.
I haven't had anything creepy happen to me in a minute. Excuse me. Not that I've sneezed.
You bless you. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my Halloweens are just completely engrossed in my children, so I don't have a lot of creepy
No,
stuff
and
happen.
that's what it's all about. And for Halloween today, it's just about. That's what I said. That first 90 minutes for me was so cool. All the little kids, in their cool little costumes, and they were just. It was really cool. And then, but it was a quick 90-minute barrage of 100 kids. It seemed like, and then as fast as they appeared, they disappeared. My whole block went dark, and people were shutting off their lights, their front porch lights and stuff like that. And
Right.
that's when I, put out the fire pit, rolled it in the backyard, blah blah blah, and attended about my business until a little later. I see a good old Mikey Myers staring down.
And
The
Mikey's
street.
just checking it out.
Mikey's checking me out.
It's keeping it real.
Yeah. So there was looking back, that was really kind of cool. I like that. Looking
That
back
is
now,
cool.
it's
That's
pretty
a good
sweet.
one. That's
It
a
was really
good one. I'll have to remember that because
Yeah.
I would mess with somebody like that 100%. I would
Oh
do
yeah. I've kind of done something similar to myself. I've stood on a corner before, but my brother lives on a corner, and I was dressed up like some freaky thing about 5 years ago, not even too long ago. Of course, I said I don't dress up, but I had this creepy clown mask on, which I was scared of clowns, and I was staring at his house, and he wasn't home. His wife, my sister-in-law, saw me, and then she was looking. Then she pulls out her camera. I see her take a picture. I said, "Don't send it to the cops. It's me." I tear off the mask. Oh my God, you asshole! I thought you were some weirdo. Then again, you are a weirdo, Rob. So yeah, I should have thought it was you, anyways.
See, I would have, yeah.
Yeah.
I try to think of what I would like if I thought that somebody was standing at the not abandoned, but the empty house across the street
Yeah.
for over an hour, just checking out my house,
Right. That's what
like
it seemed
not
like.
moving on, creepy night anyway.
Yeah. Right.
I might have gotten my gun and walked across the street.
Well, I was thinking about that. I really was, but I thought for whatever reason, I thought no. I mean, I'm not going to do that because I kind of was thinking an hour. Is that really a person? Even? I mean, I didn't think it was a. I didn't think it was a dummy, but the
Mhm.
thought probably passed in my subconscious just a little bit. Like this can't be like a real
It's not
person.
real. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So that
Yeah,
was
I did. Yeah, taking the gun. I salute you for going out there with your little pocket knife for protection. The little pig sticker
you know.
against Michael Myers.
Yeah, it was a pig. Yeah, Oh, that's so awesome right there. A pig stick against Michael Myers. Hell, a gun ain't gonna help you against Michael Myers.
And nothing helps against Michael Myers. Joe Breezy and I did a show last night on the Halloween series, and we were talking about that, about Michael Myers and like, what is he? He's not like from the original series, right? From the original 2 movies, let's say.
Yeah.
They portray him as just a regular human being that can't feel pain, but you think about it, like he's been shot, stabbed, thrown out of a window. A severed spine is a severed spine. Like you're not getting up and walking away from that.
Yeah.
So what is he? You're going to bleed out, whether you feel the pain or not. You get shot in an artery. You're going to bleed out. Like, But
You're
Michael
going, yeah.
doesn't. So what is he?
He's even been blown up, for God's sakes.
I know.
Drowned with a chain, or I mean, here's something I want to get into. I got an email from a guy. I'm going to read it. I didn't have a chance to memorize it. Kind of about the dark arts, since we're wrapping up Halloween and it's already, Christmas music. Boom, this morning.
Wait until after Thanksgiving.
That's what I'm a fan of after Thanksgiving. Really quickly, thanks to everybody for coming in. I appreciate it. I see you all in there, about 60 of you in there. Hello to everybody. The super chat's always open. You can become a BMR pirate. Join up today. Join today. Join the many. Join the few. Depends on your, Monica.
The proud, the few.
Yeah, your point of view. The pirates. The pirates. Yeah, that's always available. Thank you. Donations, of course, not expected. Always appreciated. And if you're new, subscribe to Bigfoot Mystery Rob, Monica Rollins, our Paranormal World, Texas, from Portia Blondes and the Booze Paranormal Podcast. So thanks to everybody. So the Christmas music. Oh my gosh. Now I will say this. I've said this before. I love Christmas. I love Halloween, and I like Christmas. We all do. Some people don't. I get it, and hey, it's understandable with certain people, right? But
sure,
I dig it, like it, get into it all the time. And back in the day, Monica, I think we were probably in the same age group. I'm guessing, pretty sure. And Christmas music was played when Santa came to town, and the mayor gave the key to the city.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it was here in Detroit.
Okay.
And then Thanksgiving, boom, they unveiled the Christmas music started blaring. But November, the day after Halloween, Monica, thank you, JoJo. The day after Halloween, Monica, it's
give me a break.
Yeah, I still got skeletons and pumpkins in the front of my house.
I know.
And I'm gonna play,
every holiday has its time and its order. There's Halloween, Thanksgiving, then you get to play Christmas music.
Yes.
Yeah.
If
you personally want to decorate the day after or Halloween, whatever, do your thing. I don't want to be accosted by Santa Claus before Halloween even rolls in, because I went to go look at some fall decorations. I was looking for these ceramic pumpkins specifically.
Mm-hmm.
They had completely shoved the Halloween and fall into the relegated it to this one little corner of the store, and everything was Christmas, and it wasn't even Halloween yet. I was so upset. I'm like, please stop doing that. Please stop doing that. I will decorate the hell out of my house for Christmas when it's time.
When it's time. I'm the same way, because I do get into decorating. Halloween decorating. I took care of that. I had nothing to do, so I did take the stuff down. But listen, it's okay, I'm not going to put up the Christmas stuff today. So I went to the store, and everything in the store is all Christmas as well. And I get it. It's such a big business today. And that's the sad thing.
Yeah.
But anyways, and here's the other pet peeve, and I'll move on. Josh Castro, 5 months as a pirate. Thanks, Josh. Thank you, JoJo, for your awesome super chat as well. Or super sticker. Thank you. So, but here's my thing. Christmas music, November 1st. And I love Christmas. I get into it, especially in the mid-December, I'm gung-ho. And then Christmas Day arrives, the 25th. You go to, I think, I don't even know where I go. Until people are dying on me, right? That's another story.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Christmas Day, awesome day. Christmas Eve, my brother's, great time. Christmas Day used to be my sister-in-law's ma's, but that's kind of went by the wayside. But anyway, so you're in a festive mood. 25th, then the 26th, they don't have the Christmas music, and I will usually celebrate Christmas the 24th through New Year's Eve.
Oh yeah, it lingers.
That's for me. but not to have the Christmas music when I would like to hear it on the 26th. Gone. Don't want to hear it November 1st. Don't want to hear it November 1st.
Yeah, I don't want to hear it November 1st either. So why don't we take it from like November 1st through like 23rd ish and stick it on the end of Christmas, like Christmas to New Year. Just continue it there. Extend it there.
That's again, it's like, what? There's no Christmas music on the 26th? Yet it was on November 1st. So anyway, that's a pet peeve of mine and most people's as well. I can tell it's yours as well. Just, it's not cool. But
give me a break. Literally, give me a break. I don't want to hear Mariah Carey squealing in my eardrum.
They play her. They will play her a million times. And by November 28th, I'm done with Mariah. Right?
Yeah. Could only handle so much squealing. Yeah. And Bublé too. He's a little more tolerable. But
he is actually. He's not bad. And I actually do go to I like good old Dean and Frank, Sammy. That's all the classics before our era.
I put on classic Christmas music.
Those are great. And I also like the Motown Christmas music too.
We listen to jazz Christmas music mostly.
I'll listen to all of them. The jazz is one of them. I like that Siberian.
Yes,
it's pretty cool.
Rocky.
That's so. I like it all. I listen even country. I now become a country guy. The last several years, so I even like that now. But so again, that's my pet peeve. I'm glad you're on board with that. And I got this email, Monica. I'm gonna share with everybody. I'm gonna read it only because I didn't have a chance to memorize it. And this guy actually is a chat room member. Don't know that they're in here because I forgot who it was actually. But this kind of goes back to I was doing a couple shows where we talked about the black arts and stuff, black magic. So this guy sent me this email, which I thought was kind of creepy. I apologize. I like to tell stories from memory, but I just could not. I couldn't memorize this one for some reason. So I was going to read it, the quick blog. I'm pulling it right off the email, actually.
All right.
And I'm not going to give out his email. I think I know who this person is, though. They actually are in all of our chat rooms at one time or another.
Okay.
It goes on to say, I never experienced anything paranormal in my life until I've been experimenting with ceremonial magic, black magic, in about 2003. I designed all of my magic tools. So right off the bat, this guy's into it. He gets the wands, the chalice, the dagger, the pentacle, etc. He says he's using the Golden Dawn source book. I don't know what that is, Monica. We can talk later about that.
Yeah, I'll tell you about that.
Okay, and did a number of conjurings of demonic entities from Gotia, Lesser Key of Solomon.
Yeah,
you can refresh me on that too when I'm done here. At first, I'm sure you will. At first, I thought it's probably all a bunch of bullshit. And even if the supernatural realm is real, it's on a completely different plane or existence. But I'm the type of person that wanted to find out for myself and experiment with it. So this guy, Monica, he's taking that deep dive, wants to experiment with something that knows nothing about, even if you're practicing it. Dennis Carroll, whose practices in it, doesn't recommend doing this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, FAFO, you will. Yes. You'll find out.
You'll find out for sure. So he says here, 3 years later, back in 2006, I woke up in the middle of the night, and there were 3 totally black entities wearing hooded black robes standing at the foot of my bed facing me. There was enough ambient light on that night coming in from the bedroom windows, so I could see them fairly clearly, just in darker shades. They were completely solid looking, talking among themselves in a language I couldn't understand. I couldn't see their faces clearly except for one brief second, when the one in the middle turned its face slightly while saying something to the one on its right. Then I could see it had a normal face with 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth. The odd thing was their voices were very faint sounding, like they were coming from a hollow tube from a long ways out or a long ways away. When I first saw them, my first thought was, holy shit, demons are real. My
Mm.
next thought was, hey, I guess my conjuring rituals must have worked because there's 3 demons standing at the foot of my bed. So this guy's kind of casual, is he not, Monica? And whoever you are, I know who you are. I would be freaking. People that know me, man, I'm freaking. Number one, I'm not doing this, but if this was, I'd be freaking. Just saying. I wasn't completely terrified like maybe I should have been, but I stayed very still, trying not to draw their attention to me. But I did lift my head slightly forward off my pillow to try and get a better look at them and try to understand what they were saying. At some point, I don't know when, but not too long after, I first woke up and I saw them. They were just gone. I don't know where they went or how they left, or if they just receded into the closet that was behind them in my room. I believe my practicing ceremonial magic somehow opened me up somewhat physically. And then he goes on. There's another story. I'm not going to get into that. Maybe later. He talks about his aunt that practiced Reiki.
Reiki.
And yeah, Reiki, is that how you say it? So,
Reiki.
yeah, so he had a weird account with her. If we have time, maybe I'll get into that. But okay, thanks for the email from. He's a subscriber. I don't see him in chat. But yeah, I mean, first of all, before you even start, tell me what you think. You just don't do that, do you, Monica? When you just don't conjure up demons.
I mean, if you truly don't believe that anything's going to happen, I could see somebody doing it just to be obnoxious. Like that's, but why even bother taking the chance of it? I mean, why would you take the chance?
Yeah, I see your point where, okay, let's say that Rob, myself, I have no knowledge of paranormal, Bigfoot. I'm just a very skeptical guy. I watch paranormal movies, this and that, and don't
Mhm.
believe it. I think it's more of a farce and comedy, right? So if I'm that person, I'm having fun one night. I said, yeah, you're sitting with your buddies. Yeah, you guys believe in demons and all this, and we all don't. Hey, let's go buy a Ouija board. Let's just play with it.
Right.
People like that do not believe at all, I can probably see that. But I'm guessing the way this guy kind of wrote this, he kind of believed and he wanted an experience. So that to me is the
Well,
danger because you have an intention to conjure up something, right?
yeah, I mean, if you believe and you want an experience, there's other ways to do it than jumping headlong into like the Keys of Solomon and the Golden Dawn. I mean, come on now. Like those are all extremely like the
Yeah.
dark, like not good, not something you just casually like, nah, let me, like on a whim. Well, then this was clearly not on a whim because he said what that he made his own like fame
It's
and chalices and thing, right?
yeah.
But the dagger that you use in ritual
Okay.
work in witchcraft is a thame, right? That's what it's called. So he made his own, and that's not something you just casually whip up. So if this story is even true,
Sure.
then you planned this out like very deeply. Like you knew what you were doing and you were going after something. So don't play it off like, oh, I don't believe it. And I just wanted to see what would happen. I'd call BS on that. I'd say that you knew darn well what you were doing and you definitely wanted something to happen. And I think that you probably had a good idea what would happen because you were awfully casual when something popped up at the end of your bed the
Yeah.
next night.
Like I said, I mean, yeah. If 3 hooded demons are three-hooded apparitions appeared
Yeah.
anywhere in my house, you know,
And I am not clearly dreaming. Yeah.
you
That
know,
freaks you out. I didn't even see what was coming through my house and I was freaked out.
yeah. Well, me too, Monica. You know the story about the black shadow people in my house, the
Yeah.
the big black shadow person. I mean, I
Mhm.
seen that.
And let me tell you, if these
Yeah,
things are what you think you conjured, if they are the direct result from what you were doing,
right.
the energy coming off of those things would make you pee your bed. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I thought that was a little casual. Yeah,
yeah.
wow, I must have conjured up some demons in my bedroom checking me out. Really, dude? If that was me, man, I'm not in my bed.
Yeah,
I'm
I mean, I
out.
don't know who this is. I mean, if it's somebody that's
I know.
regularly in the
Yeah,
chat,
there's a
you're
person in the
coming off
chat room.
awful casual.
We're
So
not
I'm
ripping. Yeah, they've been in chat
yeah,
before. I just forgot the actual chat name.
sure. I'm just
But yeah,
thinking, I
no, I
mean,
know we're not ripping this person. It's
no,
pretty casual. Pretty casual.
it is pretty casual, but it's casual to the point I'm going to say you were either dreaming or it's BS. Those are my two. You were dreaming or it was because I'm telling you, the stuff that is coming out of the Keys of Solomon, the stuff that is going to
Yeah,
be
what
coming
is
out of the
that?
Golden
Briefly,
Dawn,
yeah, what the hell is in those books?
there I
I
mean
knew.
you're familiar like okay, so King Solomon like was able to like bind demons essentially and
Okay.
control them to do what he wanted.
Oh
Right?
wow,
So
yeah.
you're essentially calling up demons and binding them. But I don't know what Key of Solomon you have because the book that I have or books that I have, those seals, I mean, you need exact symbols. I mean, exact symbols, like down to the dot above the little squiggly line. They're not that clear. The symbols in those books are not very clear. So if you're off by a little bit, you don't know what you're getting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. So anyway, that's what the Keys of Solomon. They're essentially like how to call them up, which it names them all and then tells you how to call them up and bind them.
You know, the bottom line is whatever anybody thinks about that particular email, you don't be messing with things like that if you have no
Mm,
idea what you're doing, right?
that's
Because
what no.
I do believe this to be true. You can conjure up a spirit if
Ah,
your intention is there and you believe you can do just about anything in this world. I believe that. And that's something that you bring it up, you better know how to put it back. And I
oh,
know that people
that's a
do not
big
know how to
thing.
do it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Oh, I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't. I don't mess. I mean, I have the books, but I'm not doing this stuff in the. Like, I would never call something up. I wouldn't call a regular spirit up because I don't trust that I would be able to put it back like properly. You know, I just don't call up what you cannot put down.
And
And
even, and that's such a great point because bringing it up, putting it back, and even, and you said even a general spirit, not to be, laissez faire about a general spirit, but even if you want to conjure up, I've got this friend of mine, boy, oh boy, this friend of mine, Rob, her mom's been gone for a while, right around the same time my dad passed, right? Within a year or two of each other. Great
Mhm.
friend of mine, and she's like, how come my mom never gives me a sign, Rob? You've had a sign from your dad about the flag. And I've had several signs that I know was probably my dad, and I've never actively tried to conjure his spirit, right? I've never attempted that.
Mhm.
Outside of it, night praying to dad at night, hey dad, how you doing up there? Hope you're up there. I mean, playing games like I would talk to him as though he was alive, right? And she was telling me, well, you're into this, what you do with your podcast and stuff. I watch some of your shows. Do you think that maybe we should try to bring back my mom, do a seance or something? Because I don't
Mm,
know where she's at, man. And I
she's
miss my
at
mom. I'm
peace. Leave
like,
her
dude,
alone.
she's at peace. Just because she hasn't appeared to you in a thought, a vision, or given you a clue, you know, it doesn't mean she's
Let her
not watching
rest.
over you.
Yeah, she's popping in and out, you
So
know.
Yeah, she's around. I mean, I'm not gonna say I can feel my dad around me, but I've had inklings he's around. Okay, I'll
Mm.
leave it at that. And you kind of a couple of things I told you, but here's the thing. Let's say that your intent, I want to talk to my mom, damn it. And you've been thinking about this for years, and it's festering and it's festering. There's also entities out there that know this and aren't necessarily on
Um,
the light side of things, they're on the dark side of things.
right.
So when they know that you're going to go ahead and maybe try to conjure up your loved one, how do you know you're not conjuring up a trickster
You
or
don't.
some nefarious creature from the dark side, right?
Yeah. I mean, conjuring, right? Calling forward, like summoning. Those are just so dangerous because, to your point, you don't know what you're getting. There's no way to prove it. It's not like you can see, right? You typically, there are people that can channel loved ones. I think that, yeah, I'm sure there are people that can do that. But again, there's no real way to prove that it is your loved one that is coming through. Now, you can be like, give me a sign. Because, okay, so when I did go to the only time in my life I've ever gone to like a psychic or somebody who claims to be able to channel the dead was when, like, it wasn't long after my son was killed.
Mm.
And I was just so consumed with that loss. And I just wanted to know. And I get it. I get it. You want to know that they're okay. I mean, it's such a sudden thing. And even if it isn't, it's somebody that you care deeply about, and they've gone on to a place that you cannot follow immediately. You can't see what's going. You don't know. We just don't know. And you want that confirmation that everything's good. But I'm also I don't want to say skeptical, but I also know there's a lot of people taking advantage of other people's grief. Right? I'm fully
Yeah.
aware of that.
Yeah.
And so I went into this session to satisfy what I thought I needed, and like understanding that my son was okay. Like, he didn't suffer, it was okay. But I'm also thinking, I was all over the news. This was not something that was, nobody knew about. I was on the news for like a couple of weeks, and he could easily have Googled my name, my son's name, figured
Sure.
everything out and said something. So I was thinking, my great-grandmother and my great-grandfather, I knew. They both died when I was in my late teens, my mid to late teens. So I had a relationship with my great-grandparents, and they had very unusual nicknames. My grandfather was Dada, and my great-grandmother was Mammy. Those were Mammy and Dada. Those were my great-grandparents.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, okay, like Mammy and Dada, if or whatever. I was thinking specifically my great-grandmother, Mammy. And I was like, if he can tell me, like, give me a name or something that nobody else would guess, I will be more apt to believe what's coming out of this dude's mouth, right?
Right.
So he's starting the session, and we're going through the session, and he says, I've got somebody coming through. He's telling me how Riley crossed over and how there was somebody there to greet him. And he said, it was a family member, but he goes, I'm getting a name, but it's hard. He goes, it's Manny, something like Manny. And I was like, holy shit. Holy shit. I was like, Mammy sounds like Manny. Somebody could get that wrong.
Yeah.
Easily, but it's still close enough. And it's still such an unusual thing to just pull out of the thin air.
Yes.
Like, nobody would have known that my great-grandmother's nickname was Mammy. So I was like, okay, I'm more apt to believe what's coming out of this guy's mouth now.
Sure. Yeah.
So, I mean, there's little things that are confirmation like that, but in the same turn, right, I can't say that wasn't something darker coming through. They know just as much as any other spirit would know, right? So probably a little bit more. So it wasn't anything bad coming through. I mean, I guess you just take your feel for it. But I mean, that's such a tricky thing. It's because you just don't know at the end of the day, right?
Well, you don't know, and I'll share something with you all, and you can give me your thoughts. Now, since I got involved with all this paranormal stuff and high strangeness, literally since 2018, right? For me, always believed though, I was always an open-minded guy, even prior to what I've been experiencing as a man who's experienced ghosts, UFOs, shadow people from the age of 6 through present day life, knew they existed. Never thought I'd have a podcast talking about it, but I do. When I broke the story to everybody, on social media about my encounter, certainly thousands of people have heard it already, right? And I can tell when someone's giving me a line of crap or telling me some honest feedback. Since I've been doing this for a while now, I've had spoken with 3 different. Now, these people came recommended to me. I'm not going to go here online and look up a psychic. I believe that there are psychic mediums that are professional, and I think that they can do what they intend to do. But I also think, like you said, there's grifters that just want to work off your loss and make money with no feelings rendered toward you, right? But I've talked to 3 different mediums about my encounter. And do you know that all 3 of them have given me 3 totally different answers or ideas, whatever they felt, whatever they saw, whatever they do, I don't know. None of them are even close to being the same. And quite frankly, 25% of me thinks maybe is true. So I'm not big into that. I guess I'm not, just because of you would think, one, do they all see differently then? Because the 3 things that I got don't make sense, don't add up, don't match. Well, you guys are frauds. That's what I'm thinking. Did not tell the people that suggested them to me. But it's kind of disheartening. It was for me for a while. I've blown that off and forget about it because I have an idea in my mind. But what's your thoughts on that? Is everybody out to make a buck, or are there real mediums out there, in your opinion?
I think there's real ones out there. I do.
Yeah.
But I would say the majority are out to make a buck. I think that coming across somebody with genuine abilities is not as common, not as common as you might think. Or a lot of people might think, maybe not you, but
I got you.
But I mean, I think that there really are.
But here's the thing that I feel bad for people out there, because I know there's people probably in the chat room and people listening that rely on these people for help, right? And they just give them a line of crap.
Yeah.
And that is so, and it's another disservice. We talk about people that fabricate stories about a Bigfoot or a hoax, and it doesn't help us at all. It's 1 foot forward and 1 step back when you're trying to, tell someone's encounter or have them come on a show. Then you've got more people that are lying. That makes everybody not believe in Bigfoot. All Bigfoot is, he's a spokesperson for Jack Link's, beef jerky. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the opinion I have with a lot of these psychic mediums, because I think there's more out there, like you said. I think we concur to make a fast buck, because they're very skilled at. First, they do their research about people, and the questions that they ask, Monica, you watch these shows. The questions they ask, they're probing questions where all they have to do is say, well, Your grandmother liked, I smell flowers. Your grandma liked flowers. Oh my God. Yeah, she did. She liked roses. Yeah, I got the scent of roses. I was, just such obvious questioning that it makes
Yeah.
me, it puts a
See,
sour note in my mind.
when I went to mine, I was trying to be very cautious of answers I would give because I didn't want to feed information,
Right.
right? I don't want to lead. So, I mean, I did my best. And, somebody in the chat made a good point that a lot of the mediums, they see and they're telling you what they see, and it may or feel it may or may not relate to you. It's just the images that are coming at them. And a lot of times it's very like, oh, I see Christmas lights and, the like just random things that you've got to try to string together to make sense. They're not going to be like, okay, I see Christmas in front of a red brick house and there's a snowman out front and the name Johnson on the front door. That's got to be your grandparents, right? I mean, they're not giving you that kind of detail.
No, right. No, that, your voice sounded good with that mic a little closer, by the way.
Oh, did it?
It sounded a little more yeah. It really did. It sounded a lot more bassy. A lot more bassy. But now you're on mute. I don't know. Or you must have muted.
I muted myself.
Yeah. No, but for future, that sounded pretty good. But no, and I will say this: I know a lot of people misconstrued what we all say right on the show. Yes, I'm an advocate for mediums. I believe they exist. I know that there's probably a dozen that watch this show. I believe in you. I know that you do have great intentions. I'm talking about those that
Don't always.
you got to question everything, I think. And that's to my fine followers, by the way. You're all, I'm just saying, it's not
They're all aces.
They're all aces in my book. But it's not, but the people I've talked with, and we'll get off this subject really quickly. It's nobody in the chat. It's nobody that anybody knows. Your references that were given to me, that I'm just glad I didn't pay any money for.
Well, I mean,
so I'm past that. I just want to I'm just very interested, right, in everything. And I said, yeah, I'll listen to somebody, just like that regressive therapy, right?
Right.
That'd be cool. Spooky. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Past life regression.
Yes, past life regression. Even I'd like to know that. I'd like to know what happened to me throughout my lifetime.
That would be
even things that I don't even know about. There's so many things we don't know about our life,
that we've forgotten, yeah.
That we've forgotten, or maybe something happened that we don't even know or have any memory of. I believe.
Well, I mean, you can't remember every aspect of it.
It's great because I pride myself in knowing I can recite all my teachers from Sunday school through college, all of them, and every hour. I have a weird memory like that, and but the basic shit like what I did yesterday, I forget.
Memory is such a weird thing. Yes, no, I understand. I do. Like I can remember lyrics to songs that I haven't heard since high school if it happens to come on the radio, but I can't tell you what I was doing yesterday afternoon, like while I was spacing out driving home. Like, I can't remember why I walked in the damn kitchen.
Oh yeah. I'm so bad that I had my phone in my hand and my keys were wrapped around my pinky, and I went out to my vehicle. I was like, where are my damn keys? I had to go back in the house and look for them. They're fucking wrapped around my pinky.
My coworker did that when we were leaving yesterday. She's like, she had her phone in her hand and she was hitting her Apple Watch while holding her phone, right? She's like, I don't know where my phone is. She's hitting the find my locate, like make the sound. The phone was in her hand while she's hitting the watch.
Oh man. Yeah.
So
yeah, it's not, sometimes I get worried. Am I getting that old person's Alzheimer's? I mean, really, It does not run in my family or anything like that. But
Oh, it runs in mine.
I'm like, how come I can't remember from 2 days ago, but I can remember from being 5 years old? And when I say that, I can tell you Sister Alexine's favorite Crayola from the 64 pack in kindergarten. I know all her favorite colors: periwinkle, red, and pink.
Isn't that
But,
crazy?
but periwinkle.
I love
Who knows?
periwinkle.
You know, I mean, I remember.
We were talking about that last night on Joe's show too, because I was like, I remember dates, like just stupid dates, like my first boyfriend, right? My first boy, like in high school, maybe whatever, the dude I was in love with. It. I remember his birthday. I don't know why. I don't want to talk to him. Like, I don't want to remember his birthday, but for some reason it's seared in there. It is just like branded right on that brain. And I don't know why.
You know, well, yeah, I remember the two girls I took to prom. Two, you hear that? Two. Oh.
I had to go on a blind date to my prom. Blind date to prom.
A blind date to prom. My God, Monica, that's kind of
it's
pathetic, really.
A story. That's a story. Ooh, God. That's a story. That's a story of scorned Monica, who's still mad 30 years.
I'm not going to get into mine very deeply, but here's a brief. I'll give you a brief. We'll talk about this one day, right? It is funny. I'm not going to get into the details because I don't want to look like an idiot, an a-hole. For my senior prom, my date was Missy Jolly. That's her name, and I met her mom. Her mom was, yeah, right, yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna leave it at that. So she was my date, but then I also forgot that I asked Patrice Gabink out. But I didn't cancel one of them. I didn't quote unquote dump one of the two because I literally forgot about Patrice. Until the night before the prom, I realized that I've got 2 dates and I had to swing that. You ever see Three's Company? Back in the day, I used to watch John Ritter play Jack Stripper, and he had 3 different dates, and he's running from.
I remember that episode.
Oh my God, that was me. That was good old BMR senior prom. I brought them both, and I kind of did something similar to that. I'm not going to get into that today, you guys. But yes, yeah, very memorable, very memorable. They both obviously are no longer with me or part of my life after that.
Did they catch on pretty quick?
When it came to dinner time, when it came to dinner, I couldn't pull that one off. At the dance, I pulled it off pretty well. Yeah.
It's easy to pull it off at the dance.
Yeah, it's easy at the dance. Come dinner, I was bebopping back and forth. It ended up turning into a nightmare. It wasn't, it was just not fun. It was a nice little comedic parody. Yeah, I'll never forget it. I'll tell you one day. I'm not going to do it on here.
I'll have to hear it. We'll swap out prom stories. I'll tell you how I ended up with the blind date to my prom who looked like Wally Cleaver. It was a tragedy.
Oh, no.
Yeah. It was bullshit.
Oh, boy. I got this dog man encounter some guys sent in. I don't know if I've done this. You know what I have to start doing, Monica, because I have so many stories that I tell like on this show and a couple other shows. I got to check off the ones that I've said because I don't like to be redundant, but I've got like over 100, right? And I seem like I always go to the ones that I like the best. So let me know if you heard this one. I don't think you did. This is like about dog man, alleged dog man.
Okay.
And this takes place in the southwest, yes, lower southwest corner of Pennsylvania. Now, Monica, you know a little bit about Pennsylvania. It's kind of a creepy corridor.
That particular area that's not too far from where I used to go every year in Ohio.
Yeah, and well, it's right at the Ohio border, as
Yeah.
the guy kind of stated that he was a rock's throws away from the Ohio border.
Okay.
And we all heard of the Ohio Howl, and in fact,
Yes.
Small Town Monsters, they're based out of Ohio, and they've
Yeah.
got a lot of cool stuff from Ohio.
Yep.
And so this guy's is John and Jules. I mean, that's their name. Whether it's their name or not, I don't know, but that's the name I was given. And they're one morning they had a multi-level house, and their bedroom happens to sit on the top floor of their bedroom. Their bedroom's on the top floor, I should say. Okay. They had a nice deck, and it looks out to the woods, and they're surrounded by the woods. The tree line is a distance away, maybe 80 to 100 yards or so, and they moved in. This is very well. This is a newer story, everybody, because this took place in. They bought the home, Monica, in 2021,
Mm-hmm.
and this experience was the spring of 2024. So this is kind of fresh.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm thinking I never told this one. So the morning, the sun is starting to rise. Actually, no, that's another part of the story. It's the nighttime. They're in bed. It's like 3 or 4 in the morning, and they hear these. They're awakened, both of them, to these thunderous howls, screams, yells. We've all heard this before. The growls, like a massive, like dog pack, a wolf pack, whatever you want to call it, just in the distance, and it was thunderous. In fact, John is telling me that it seemed like it was getting close, like it was even underneath the deck leading to the upstairs bedroom. And the wife and they were both up, and they were really these thunderous howls really frightened them a little bit,
Sure.
to the extent that, hey, it's 3 or 4 in the morning, and they can't fall back to sleep, so they went down in the kitchen and they put on a pot of coffee, and they're just sitting around and just looking out the windows, and there's nothing around, and the howls went away, and so on and so forth. So next night, they hear these howls again, right? They hear again howl at the same time, about 3 or 4 of these howls. And this time, John gets up, and again, he runs out to the deck. This is the second night, and he sees this massive figure of a big person, he says, running toward the house. It's sprinting. It's on 2 feet, running. Can't make it out because it's still darkness, but he can kind of see, with some of the ambient lighting going on, that it was something. And then it kind of stops, and it turned, and it seemed like it got lowered to the ground and just scooted off into the distance. And this is right. I guess he was saying it was kind of close to sunrise, because there was some light cast on it, but it was still a dark shadow. So again, he's sitting at the edge of the bed, and Jules is, "What'd you see? What'd you see?" He goes, "Honey, I don't know. I saw something. It was some figure. I don't know what it was. Can't make it out." So again, they go down, have their coffee, and he says, "Hey, when it gets light out, I'm gonna go out and investigate." The prior night, he didn't really do any investigating of any sort. He just kind of went about his day. But this time, back to back nights, he gets out and starts inspecting his property. When he goes out and he's walking around his property, and he gets to the approximate area where he's seeing this shadowy figure, and he sees like a bunch of deer tracks, which wasn't unusual because the wife Jules would always feed the deer with deer feed, right? So they had a lot of deer on the property, all over the place. And then he said, well, it appeared to him, the man, not a hunter, has no clue about Bigfoot, Dogman, anything paranormal, just some dude. And he sees what he thought were like, a canine, big canine paw prints,
Ooh.
but they were all kind of all over the place. Like he's saying this thing was running, then it got low and ran, so it was all jumbled up, and they kind of led to the tree line. And he says that he followed it on for maybe 100 feet, then all of a sudden, no more tracks, nothing, all gone. So he's kind of, concerned. The wife's very concerned, wants to move. I don't know about that,
Sure.
you guys. Yeah, well, Monica, I think you would be sitting tight. You're not moving right away, right? You want to investigate a little bit, right? So calls the brother, and well, the brother he lives in Ohio, and he works for Fish and Game. So, which is kind of cool because that obviously, if anybody knows anything about what's maybe the howls were, these weird prints are, the brother would, and the brother's name was Jim, and they usually got together every year anyway around this time of year because I guess Jim's wife had passed away, so he rekindled his relationship with his brother, so they would get together, and Jim would go to his brother John's house, and they would spend a couple weeks fishing. So he said, "Hey, perfect timing. So explain to me what you observed." So John's going on and telling this guy that heard these hideous, thunderous roars and screams. He's seen this dark object appear to be running like a human, then dropping down close to the ground, and then mentioned the deer prints that he knows should be there. But then he said all these oversized dog prints. So on the other end of the phone, his brother's like, "Wow, yeah, yeah." The brother kind of got a little silent, right? "I'll be right over. I'll be over tomorrow in the morning. Why don't we start our vacation a week early?" Because he was going to come down anyway. Okay, fine. Well, let's do this thing. So, the third night, now the brother is going to be there the next day around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The third night, they again hear the howls, the same situation, and then again, this couple, John and Jules, are like, "What is going on here? I can't wait for my brother to get here tomorrow." They don't see the figure this time. They just hear everybody. They just hear these squirrels, these squirrels, these these scowls. These yells. The howls from the woodline. So they blow it off. They say, "Look, let's relax. Let's wait for our brother. We have something going on here that we can't figure out." So that afternoon is getting on towards evening. And in the meantime, over the last 3 days, this couple's been online. And then Jules came across things about Dogman and this, that, werewolves, listens to some podcasts. So this couple has been frightened, and they've literally spent all their time on the internet, which, as you know, Monica, probably not always the best source for information.
Yeah, not accurate anyway.
Unless you're on the Bigfoot Mission Rob show or Monica Rollins or then you're getting good information. Text, right? So they're like, they have no idea. So anyway, he goes, "Hey, honey, wait for my brother. He's coming tomorrow at 1 o'clock. We haven't ate all day. They haven't eaten in a couple days." And they go out in the back deck and they're barbecuing some steaks or whatever. It's dusky dawn, 6:30, going on 7 o'clock. The sun is going down over the back of the wood line. When all of a sudden, breaking from the wood line is the big humanoid figure running.
Mm.
It's running, charging the house. He can make it out. It looked like a wolf type creature, but he couldn't quite make it out, Monica, because swung over its shoulder was something that the guy couldn't, was kind of blocked, like the upper body, the head area was kind of constructed by this big bulky thing on his shoulder. When this creature stops, he picks up and throws this creature or whatever. Well, it ends up being an animal, not a creature. He hurls this in the air. The guy says, it travels 13 feet in the air.
Holy cow.
Kerplunk. It lands, in front of this creature, which now he gets a kind of a view of. And he says, "Man, he said a werewolf type thing. It had a werewolf had a long snout, and he says it was very close. And then it turns around, and takes off, runs back into the woods. These people are petrified. They don't even go out to investigate. They don't look at whatever was. I find out later it's a deer. During the guy's story, I don't know it's a deer at this point, but I know it. But he throws this thing. They're waiting for the brother to come in the morning. Brother comes in the morning, tells them the story. They go out, and they go out, and the brother, again, fishing game, goes on to tell him that, let's go inspect this, tells him the story. And there was a dead carcass of a deer. Now, the deer, Monica, was slashed open, and all the entrails were missing.
Oh.
It
like
was
missing, like just completely hollowed out?
Like hollowed out.
Okay.
It almost was kind of like a really good processing job for a hunter, Everything's gone. It's dried out. He says hardly any blood. But the weird thing, Monica, is he was telling his brother about these his brother's like, well, let's look for the prints. And like the prior night before, these wolf-like prints, or these big dog prints, or whatever you want to call them, were there. And surrounding this deer was nothing but deer impressions. There was not a single print from this thing.
Well, it hurled it 13 feet away, so
yes,
yeah,
and then seen it run back into the wood line. But like the prior night, there was not an impression of anything outside of the deer.
Mm-hmm.
Thought it was weird. So his brother took him in a house and said, "Hey, look, 15 years in the business, that's a dog man." And he says, here's the thing. His brother's like a dog man. You mean the stuff that me and the wife have found on the internet? We just thought that was creepypasta.
Sure.
And he goes, well, dude, I've been doing this for 15 years. We don't make it public. Now, this is the cool part of the story. I mean, that story, take it with a grain of salt. But here's the thing. The brother goes on to tell him that the dog man exists. They're out there. In fact, that he's seen 4 or 5 creatures that resemble dogmen in the woods of Ohio. They're out there, and they're all put under extreme wraps not to tell the public. I've done many stories from people that have gotten the same thing told to them. I'm making a dog man report, the DNR fishing game, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
So he goes, yeah, hey, what you got? So make a long story short. Okay, brother Jim, this is a dog man. It's on my property. The wife Jules goes, should we move? Are we threatened? That's my bottom line here. Good dog man, whatever the hell you want to call it. Should we move? The brother says, I've never heard anybody getting killed by the dog man. If it was even a dog man, although he told him he's probably not.
Do you want to witness werewolves?
Do you want to witness werewolves? Yeah, that's a great question.
Like regularly? Move.
I mean, they've seen it 3 days in a row, running on the property. Very mysterious. The prints disappear. A carcass of a dead deer hurtled 13 feet toward them, completely gutted. You want to stay here, honey?
No.
With this on our property? He tells me they didn't move. At the end of the email. Whatever. I don't believe
That's your choice.
Don't know.
I mean,
it's your choice. Certainly, there's reasons why people don't move. Can't afford it.
I understand that. Yeah, I get it.
So I said, well, this is 2024. I said, dude, keep me updated. In fact, Monica, he's planning on coming on the show end of Christmas to tell it to everybody, which I do like that because I like to hear this guy in person.
Sure.
So I don't know. I think that, things happen, Monica. Here's the first thought that I got, though, which was kind of weird because, every time we talk about dog man, it's not anything. It's something that I think is out to scare the hell out of you. And like anything else, do you think that there was no prints because it might have been a dimensional creature?
Hmm.
But here's the thing I have to ask you: who cares about Dogman or Bigfoot? Always the prints always disappear. Footprints, walk 50 feet, gone, whatever. You've heard the stories.
Yeah, but I mean,
My
are there
thing is,
trees
how
nearby? Because I think that they do travel through the trees.
for well, there's trees on his property, yes. Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, I know that area in Ohio, at least, is pretty heavily wooded. You know, so it's not entirely, in my opinion, out of the realm of possibility that they could jump into the trees and start traveling that way. So if you see tracks moving through that just disappear, look up and tell me what's above you. Like, are there heavy limbs? I'm not saying that's right next to the base of a tree, but if you're in a fort, like, are there heavy limbs that could support something?
Do you think that that's kind of cool? I mean, I think of something that can walk, can climb. So do you think these dogmen are up in trees?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Oh, you do?
I'm
Oh,
not saying they're there all the time, but yeah, I think that's a hiding spot. I think it's a mode of travel. We don't typically look up when we're going through the woods.
no, we don't. Oh, we never do. I mean, I do
Yeah.
now only because, but I never did.
Yeah.
And I should know this answer. You probably, I bet you know the answer. This part of Pennsylvania, I don't know. I did not look it up if there's wolves prevalent there.
I don't
And
think so.
I don't think so either. I think wolves are kind of more to the north.
Yeah.
But can a wolf? I don't. Okay, I'm taking a wild guess that wolves can't climb trees. No, I know. I'm just saying wild guess because a
Well,
black.
I mean, if there's a low enough limb, they might be able to jump onto the limb, but they're not climbing trees.
I think if they're bipedal, if it's a bipedal dog man, I think they can jump up and do the.
Well, sure, they would
Tarzan
have
thing.
the ability to
'Cause they
grab
have- 'cause
on.
They have
Yeah,
hands,
like
technically.
raccoon hands, right? They can grab
Yes.
onto things.
Technically, dogmen have hands, not paws. Or at least they have paws with flanges that are fingers with
Right.
with talons, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I think that Dogman, I think Bigfoot, I think they all use the trees. I do. I mean, I don't know what
I'm
would
100%.
cause, you know,
100% believe you.
I don't know what would cause footprints to just disappear
See, that's always,
otherwise.
for me, that's like the $1,000,000 question. The middle of a field, prints disappear. It's just, I'm not suggesting it's paranormal either. I mean, but it's just like,
I mean, I'm never gonna go straight to it's jumping through portals. Like,
that's not my, that's
I'd
not
be
going to be my
hard
first.
pressed to like go that direction.
Well, Monica, yeah, you're with me. That's not my first answer. Oh, yeah, portal. It was a portal.
Totally portal. Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Trees are portals. Portal.
You open up a wormhole, slip through the wormhole.
There you go. Wormholes. Portals, same thing.
Conjured up something. You know, he makes black magic. You know.
Yeah. He had the lesser keys of Solomon. He just got a demon to transport.
Oh, God. You know. I thought it was cool. So what I really like about that is a cool story. What's really cool is the guys will be coming on and telling that in his words.
You know what? I have a problem with the brother-in-law, though, the natural resources guy. It's saying that I've never heard of a dog man killing somebody.
Yeah, where you been, dude? I'm thinking LBL, man.
Well, not just LBL. I mean, there's all kinds of other things, but I mean, you got to find the body, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, you got to prove that's what it was. It gets chalked up to so many other things. Like, yeah, you've never heard of it. I mean,
doesn't know it hasn't happened.
Yeah, if you I mean, you would only have heard of it if somebody witnessed it taking place. I mean, otherwise, I mean, they could speculate it was Dogman, but they're never going to like release that to anybody. Probably not even within their own ranks, like, because these people got to go out in the woods and make a living. Like, I wouldn't want to go out there if they're like, yeah, I killed 3 people in this forest last year. Be careful while you're out there in the middle of the night checking on the campgrounds. Like, I'd quit that job.
Yeah. I mean, wouldn't we? I mean, it's like I will tell you this about his brother. He kind of was irresponsible. Not only saying I had never heard of that, but and even the couple, the woman, boom, I know she want. I could tell the way if I read what he was telling me, boom, yeah, want to be out of here. 3 straight nights, big ferocious being on your property, tosses a deer 13 feet with no problem, eviscerated, ripped open.
Mm.
I don't think unless unless I'm an avid hunter and I go out and look for this thing and shoot it. And if I'm married, if I'm single, I might stay, Monica. But if I'm married, I probably gonna listen to the wife on that one to
Yeah,
get
I
out of
would be
Dodge.
hard pressed to stay there. I would just, yeah, it's in the distance, but anything that's eviscerating deer and just chucking it, just tossing it,
You know,
that's a warning to
Hey,
me. That's like, hey, look what I can do.
that's like
Check
me.
it out.
That's kind of like me tossing you a football. Hey, Monica, here,
Yeah.
catch. Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
it was a deer. Sorry, I knocked you down.
Well, I mean, it seems to me more like a throwdown, like, check it, yo, I can do this with that could
You
be
know
you.
what? Great point, because I always say this. This is a great point, Monica, because people often ask me, what do you think? They evil, this and that? I don't know about evil and all. I do know they like to intimidate you
Hmm.
and tell you, I can get you, I can
Oh
eat
yeah.
you.
I
We've
mean,
all
they
heard the stories about they
got a
they
related
imply and
story.
show terror on the people because they want you to know they're boss and they can get you anytime they want. That's where I imply a lot from the dog man. And I think it's such a diverse subject. I think there's all of them. I think they're dimensional. I
I
think
think some of them could be. I think
think
some
they
of them
could.
could be, but that's again not
I
my
just think
first
they could.
go-to.
I
That's
think
not
they
my
could.
first go-to.
Yeah, hey, I got you. They could be Satan's German Shepherd too.
Well, they could be alien pets out taking a leak too. I mean,
Yeah,
they could be.
Bigfoot could be a so good a Bigfoot, right? I don't
Right.
know.
Yeah. I
We
mean, they're
don't know.
intergalactic space pets, and we're just like the local dog park. Let them
Yeah,
go
we're the
to
dumping
run
ground.
off the energy or something.
Yeah, great, but we could just be a dumping ground. We could, planet Earth could just be a big old waste yard, a garbage, a junkyard
Where were the abandoned
where they're
space
just
pets
dropping their
go?
crap. Yes.
Now look at that crappy planet. Just dump them off
Yeah,
there.
we're gonna drop off
Nobody
these.
will notice.
We're gonna throw these dog men down here and a couple of these big feets.
Yeah.
You know, look at that
Freak out the
waste.
local population. Nobody cares. Backwater planet.
You know how we have the tree. Yeah. You know how we have our local trash pickup. We're probably the trash dump for a lot of these
We are.
aliens.
We're that end of the country lane where everybody dumps their refrigerators.
Because you won't find this stuff on the moon, will you? Right. The moon
Throw
is
that
supposed.
away.
The moon is the moon is the hub where they all stop and rest. It's like that.
Oh, that's right.
It's like the
Well,
resting
there's all
stop.
those
It's the resting station.
what is it? The alien not fortresses, but stations on the dark side of the moon, right?
Yeah.
You're right. Right.
Yeah. Do you believe in that? I think you would. You're not a conspiracy girl, but
Oh, I'm conspiracy on something. I am heavy.
you don't believe in the dark side of the moon, that there are alien bases.
I think I would believe that before I would believe hollow moon. There are a lot of people that believe in a hollow moon, just like a lot of people believe in flat Earth.
Well,
Joe.
hollow moon would be like the Death Star, right?
Well, hollow moon.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but the Death Star was a hollow planet.
Well, yeah, but
no,
it also didn't have
it didn't fly.
terrain,
The moon doesn't fly.
Yeah, it's got actual surface on it. The Death Star was just metal.
Oh yes, right, correct. I don't know about the moon. It's weird. I don't know. The moon is. We could have so many shows about the moon. Did we really land on the moon? Did we land on the moon, Monica? Were we told not to come back?
I mean, it is interesting why, if we did land there, we didn't go back. I mean, maybe we found something there that we didn't want to re-encounter.
Yeah.
You know, that's why we didn't go back.
I do feel it's odd that we never went back. One time since what, 19, what was that, 60, what? I don't know what the
68,
year was.
69, something like that.
I do find that odd. We never went back. I don't know. Certainly explorers. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, why are we planning missions to Mars and we haven't even like fully like not terraformed, but like just explored all of the details of the, you know, little planetoid that is circling our own planet.
It's the closest thing to us, the quickest to get to. I think deserves more than one exploration, and they weren't even on for what? Not that long.
No,
they were boom, took off.
They hopped around,
planted the flag, hopped around,
threw a flag down, jumped back on the ship, and took off. Yeah,
and maybe that's why they weren't there very long. You never know. Maybe they did come across something.
So yeah, I think they came across something, and they're like,
"Yeah, we should." Yeah, Mr. President, we're not going back.
Yeah, like Apollo. What is it? There's a horror movie about that where we went back to the moon, and there were these like rock aliens that like.
Oh my God, I've seen that. I saw it on something very similar. I thought the movie was cool as hell, but the 3 people died. They never got off the moon.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, well, for them, yeah. I'm sure it was made.
Look who chimed in.
Oh my God, we got a little Donnie Show action before we close out. Just when we're going to close out, I have to bring up Mr. Most Powerful.
Hey guys.
Hello.
How many drinks in are you?
Not that many tonight, but I heard you guys were talking about psychics, and I figured tonight would be a good night. The most powerful psychic come in and say hi.
Yeah, everything, Donnie.
Yes.
You got your fingers in all the pies.
Yeah, that is all around. And so our take was, I think that they are for real, but the 3 I talked to were full of bunk, and it's too hard to find one you can trust.
Or maybe one of them was right, but the other 2 were wrong.
Well, that's a possibility.
Yeah. Hey, so can I tell you, Rob, why I'm the most powerful psychic?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
You're going to tell us anyway, Don.
Yeah, because most psychics always have this air of like, oh, I'm humble, but I'm down to earth, right?
Not you.
So I figured there would never be a psychic medium, like someone like a professional psychic, who would ever step up and say, "Nah, Donnie Cho, I'm more powerful than you." No one. And until that psychic steps forward and just says that they're more powerful than me, then yeah, I'm the most powerful psychic. I'm the most powerful one.
Are you though?
I am.
Are you?
I am.
The man who asked me if I was Mexican or just white is the most powerful psychic in the world.
I didn't ask you that. No, my exact question was, Monica, like, I don't know how to ask you this, but are you white? That's how I asked. If you remember. I was like, are you white? Like, I couldn't figure it out.
You asked me if I was something else or just white.
Yeah. Well, I mean, inquiring minds need to know, Monica.
Okay, well, Mr. Psychic, you tell me.
But I'm not that kind of psychic. That's the thing. That's what I always explain. Because, there's like so many different types of psychic abilities, right? There's hundreds of them, Rob. You know this, right?
Yes.
There's mediums, clairvoyance, clair audio, clair whatever, right? but there's all these different varieties, right? You got physical mediums and spiritual mediums and mental mediums.
So there's clairaudient,
Yeah.
clairvoyant, there's clairsentient, there's a lot of
Clairsentient.
so which one
Yeah.
are you?
I'm the what you call the psychic juggernaut. So what psychic juggernauts do is they don't receive the information, they put the energy out, right? So what I can do, Rob, is that I can defeat ghosts with invisible fireballs. But the reason why they're so powerful is because they're invisible. But ghosts don't mess with me. Demons will not come near my bed. They're just like, oh no, that's to do with the invisible fireballs, Rob.
Oh,
Yes.
that's right. The fireballs.
And until any psychic in the community steps forward and says they're more powerful than that, then yes,
Are
I am
you
the
a
most powerful
firebender?
psychic. I'm a what?
Are you a firebender in the astral realm?
No, I'm a ghost bender over my
Like
knee.
firebender, dude.
Yeah.
Fireballs.
But they're invisible. See,
Well,
regular
it's in the astral
regular
realm.
fireballs,
Yeah, it's invisible.
it's gotta work in that dimension, because regular fireballs, if it was visible, then it would work in this dimension. That's not that impressive. That's just a regular fireball. Any schmo with a hairspray bottle and a lighter can do that, right?
Mm.
But the invisible
I've
kinds,
done it.
Rob, that defeat ghosts,
That is the unhidden
That's
talent
next
and
level.
power.
that's next level, Rob. Next
That is
level.
next- And for those of you, Dottie Cho, he says stuff.
He
had a
says
great.
all kinds of stuff.
The one thing I do say is I am the most powerful psychic, and I'm waiting
does.
for some psychic to step forward and claim otherwise.
Well, you can send your comments to Donnie Cho says stuff, and you can step forward and get a
Go
hold
challenge Donnie on his show.
of
When is your show,
challenge
Donnie?
Donnie.
Yeah.
Yeah, when's your show?
When's your
Donnie?
show?
We gotta do.
Oh,
we gotta do
9:30.
that.
9:30
Eastern.
when?
Is it on Saturday night at 9:30?
Saturday night, 9:30.
So everybody out there, it's Dottie Show says stuff Saturday at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Go have an invisible fireball showdown on his show
Let's-
with him.
Let's have
Jason
a challenge.
Finch says Donnie chose a Pokemon. I'm not saying that I'm not.
Donnie Cho also talked about flagellants and farting on demons or ghosts
Yeah.
after this. Yeah.
He's got
You
a
gotta-
real obsession with Bigfoot's ding dong too,
Yeah.
for some reason.
Donnie Cho's show is definitely says stuff.
It's because people in the Bigfoot community skirt around that issue whenever they describe Bigfoot, and there's something weird about that, Monica. That's why.
That's what's weird about it.
That's what's weird
The
about
fact
it.
that people aren't talking about it is
Yeah.
totally what's weird about that whole thing.
Why are they avoiding that region every time they give an interview and describe the Bigfoot? That's all I gotta ask.
I mean, terror.
Yeah, I don't know, Donnie. I think that they don't get a chance to give them the quick once over. I mean, I didn't see it on mine, and I saw from head to toe, and I don't recall any genitalia.
I think that the shock of just seeing it, you're not.
But he was near the
Creature
water,
itself.
so one would expect some, natural shrinkage. I mean, he was near the water. He was in the water, Rob. He was in the water.
It was a cold day.
Yeah, it was a cold day,
Yeah,
Rob.
it was a cold, frigid day, June 18th. Unusually cold for the beginning of summer. Anyway, Donnie, I always love when you come on with your little insights, and I think everybody's got to go check out Donnie.
Yes.
If you're up for that challenge, Saturday at 9:30, Donnie Cho says stuff. Find him on YouTube. Good friend of mine. Know Donnie for a while. He's a good guy. He's got a fun show. I like Donnie.
I try to make it fun.
You do have a fun show, and it's
Yeah.
a nice break away from, everyday serious stuff.
There you
I
go.
feel like people in this community as a whole are just way too serious, way too often.
That's the topic for another day.
Yeah.
I don't even call it a community anymore. But with that being
It's a network of serious people, folks.
yeah.
Yeah.
And,
overly serious.
Yeah.
I view it this way: you're a follower of BMR, Monica, Tex, Donnie. the girls, the blondes, you're followers of us.
Yeah.
You are our audience, our friends. Whether you're in the chat room or whether you're listening live, thanks to all the people that came on in today. 297 listening live, 60 in the chat room. Woohoo. You guys are just as important as people in the chat. Thank you for the super chat from the lovely Joe Castro, 5-year member, 5-year BMR pirate member. Arr!
Arr.
On you guys' way out the door, please like, subscribe if you're new. I do appreciate that. It was a fun show, Monica. I really enjoyed it. We had both the girls. Both the girls were sick, burning the candles at both ends, but you did a great job as always. And I'm just kind of
do what I can.
You do a good job as always. I liked your little costume. We showed that earlier. Go back, check the replay. I'll check out Monica. She looked creepy. She really did look creepy the other night.
I do what I can.
Dude, I'm just making stuff up while I try to find the extra. Okay, here's the extra. You're awesome. You're awesome. Thanks, Monica.
I'm guilty of that.
Donnie,
Yeah.
always good to see you. Thanks everybody for coming on in. It is Sunday. I'm off to watch my Lions. 4:00. Green Bay Packers. Take them down. We will own the throne, at least for tomorrow. Should we win? Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Night.